Darkout is a 2D sandbox crafting game that was developed and published by Allgraph in December of 2013. In Darkout, you are a single human whose pod crashes on a planet that was once inhabited by humans, but has since been taken over by shadow creatures. In a world filled with dangers and darkness, you need to gather all the materials that you can in order to, not just survive, but to fight back against the shadow creatures. A big thing about this game is that it is absolutely gorgeous. They decided to not go with the pixel style, but with something fresh. The contrast between light and dark bring in an almost horror feeling. Some weapons, especially the weapons early on, if you equip them, you will not be able to see in front of you unless you set a light source down. The best option is to point a light at the scary noise to see what it is. The lighting in this game is very well done. For a game that truly relies on light and dark like this game does, lighting needs to be done very well. We also have natural lighting in this game that is through plants. Now, you need plants to craft some items, so this puts you in a bind of either saving the plants for light, which is very crucial in this game, or mining them for crafting materials. Speaking of mining and crafting, that is really what you will be doing for most of the game. There are other challenges and objectives along the way, but chances are you will spend most of your time just mining and building. The way the game works is there are two main areas in which you can mine: blocks and walls. Blocks are what you see directly in front of you when you mine. There is also a layer behind the blocks, which are walls. You also use these for construction. Pretty much, unless it's part of the background, you can mine it. Whether it's killing an enemy and picking up its resource, or anything in the environment, you can mine it. Mining is needed for crafting, which is the way you survive in this game. In order to get better armor, craft better building structures, and everything in between, you need to craft it based off resources you collect through the world. All of this is pretty standard for this genre. This game is all about being open and not getting from point A to point B. It can be overwhelming when you start, but once you get into it, the game really becomes very simple since it's just about crafting and mining. With having to fight enemies, light is your friend. Enemies will not be able to spawn in the light, and they become much weaker if they're in the light when you fight them. You will end up spending a big chunk of the game going out and fighting enemies so that you can keep putting light sources in for the areas you want to mine further. This can get annoying at times when you're trying to chop down a tree and keep getting killed, but it is part of the game. One of the downsides of this game is the controls. They feel very counterintuitive. It's a mixed bag because if you kill an enemy, you can directly pick up the resources they drop, but there are also instances where you have to hover the mouse over and then hit Q to pick it up. Unless it's a container, then you hit E to interact with it. Now, the controls can be rebound, but the way that some of the controls are set up, even with switching bindings, it's just not intuitive and can be frustrating at times. In the end, Darkout is a fun game. It takes getting used to, but once you do, the game just feels good. After getting over the controls, the game becomes very fun to play. Yes, you will need to do some research beyond what is provided in the game through the internet, but that does not mean it is a bad game. Allgraph has said they plan on continuously updating the game, which is nice to know that we will get more with this game. The game is more than just mining and crafting items, since you will be fighting back against shadow creatures as everything happens, which makes the game much more exciting. The mix of having to mine while you see enemies approaching and having to fight back just to get resources is hectic, and it's a very nice change for this genre and adds intensity to the game. If you don't enjoy this genre, then this game is not for you. However, if you enjoy mining and crafting games, I recommend you check this game out and give it a shot.